Naveen, just a couple of minutes.
Sure, sure. Hello, hello, hello.
हाय कपिल भाई, मैंने आपको एक लिंक भेजा है, प्लीज आधे घंटे के लिए ज्वाइन कर लो ना. इट्स एन इंटरनेशनल रेजिडेंसी प्रोग्राम एंड आई स्क्रूड अप. आई डिडंट सेंड इट टू यू. आई एम डूइंग दिस फॉर अ वेरी सीनियर जेंटलमैन.
That's an idea.
Naveen, we'll have a couple of other gentlemen joining in. I had left out a couple of people, my mistake.
Sure, sure.
Who we have on board right now is part of my Progress Partner, which is the partner channel
Okay.
team. But other than that, I've got the biggest names at PL on this call right now,
Okay.
which includes Mr. Ajay Sharma, who heads our corporate advisory,
Okay.
Ish, who heads our institutional research teams.
Okay.
I've got Kapil. Kapil is a prolific personality and also heads our AIF based out of Delhi.
Oh, lovely. Okay.
Nipun, again, another prolific investment banker who heads all our IPO services. So between all of these gentlemen, Nupur and Pankaj from the wealth side and lead their respective functions.
Okay.
Between all of them, they cater to family offices, of course. But other than that, in the normal routine, they also meet, obviously, corporates and a lot of distinguished, HNIs or ultra HNIs as well.
Perfect. Perfect.
So the idea was that I mean, I thought we'll do it at 11. There's a risk to it because everybody has their day packed.
Yes.
But I
Thanks.
thought it's okay if we can take about 20-25 minutes to run
Sure.
them through it.
Yeah.
And then I'll share your number, etc., so that if anybody wants a detailed call, they can do that with you.
Perfect. Perfect.
Over.
Thank you. Sounds good. Oh, thank you so much. So good morning. Thank you, Sandeep. And good morning, everybody. Start with thank you very much for sparing time for this call and indebted to Sandeep for helping us organize this. So quickly, as you know, the concept of global mobility obviously has become a reality now. Once upon a time, it used to be a dinner table discussion where the entire family would get together and discuss as to, listen, should we look at relocating to another country? Should my child be supported if he or she is going to US, etc. Now, it's something which is part of your natural, progression of any discussion. So there are typical countries which are driven by the underlying factors. But before that, I thought I'll just do a quick share of just to help all understand or rather bring it to context as to what exactly this is all about. So it becomes so much easier for kind of all of us to put things in perspective. So uh, investment immigration is a process that allows people to move to another country. So basically, it's a little upgrade on the conventional PR program which one used to have. A lot of countries realize that, by actually seeking investment into their country, obviously, which means that you are looking at catering to the wealthier families who can afford to allocate sizable sum of money in the country. And in turn, they are actually either given a residence permit, which eventually gets upgraded or migrated to progress into citizenship, or it just remains as residence permit only. So the what happens is, here are the countries who are allowing you to invest a large sum of money into their country, and in lieu of that, you are given citizenship or you are given a residence permit for either forever or for a limited period of time. The biggest advantage of this is especially for countries like, say, for example, US, which is the biggest program, most expensive program, which are largely driven by the children. So I mean, if you just look around our peer group itself, we will realize that there are plenty of family members and friends and acquaintances whom we know where children have some interest of, making US their home over a period of time. Either they are already there or they're in the process of relocating, etc. Now, as family, as parents, there is always a concern. They listen, how can I provide them with some kind of help which will ensure that they don't have to worry about their visa status and etc etc. Now, which is where something like this comes into play, and this actually is by far the best form of ensuring legitimate form of relocating to another country in the shortest possible time. So residence, like I said, there are two types of program. One which gives you only residence permit, and two which gives you citizenship. So the residence permit is ideally one, either it is for a limited period of time like UAE, which gives you a a multiple entry golden visa for 10 years. Of course, it is subject to renewal. And then there are others who actually give you for as long as, for example, the green card of US, or there are others which are linked to for the duration for which the amount is invested, for example, Greece. So as long as your money remains invested in the country, you have the residence permit, which allows you to free access to that, not just that country, but a lot of other countries, which by virtue of having the residence permit, you can actually get into a lot of countries, either on as a with no visa requirement at all, or as visa on arrival kind of a facility. So these are countries which gives you only residence permit. They will not give you citizenship at all. So typical country which gives you only residence are in Europe. These are Cyprus, Greece, Malta, Portugal. Portugal over a period of time also qualifies you for citizenship. However, the programs have become fairly, tedious now. So it requires you to have a understanding of language and a lot of other things. There is Canada, there is USA, which gives you both the option of residence, which can eventually, progress into citizenship program also, and then UAE, which gives you only and only residency. Then there are countries which give you complete citizenship, which means you surrender your Indian passport, you actually take on that particular country's passport, and by virtue of having that passport, obviously, the benefits are that you are a normal citizen. So you can set up business, you can seek employment, you can employ people, you can uh, you know, buy businesses, sell businesses. It gives you access to a lot of other countries. So typically, most of these, residence permits or citizenship programs give you covers the whole of Schengen countries. And in fact, I'll just go into the uh, countries and the programs that becomes so much easier instead of kind of covering everything right now. So the biggest advantage of citizenship is that one, it you become a local resident. So you have access to their healthcare, education, employment, self-employment opportunities, which in case of some of the countries becomes extremely relevant. For example, US. The day you have your green card or a temporary green card, you have the entire plethora of services available on the platter. So you can access the complete education, healthcare, employment, and the cost of education for the children virtually becomes negligible. As an international student, for example, if the child is paying $30,000 per annum, moment you become a green card holder, it comes down to 300, 500, $1,000. So that's the kind of advantage you have. So these are the countries which gives you citizenship, which means they will straight away give you passport and you have to surrender Indian passport over a period of time. So the whole of country, I mean, the entire lot of countries of Caribbean, for example, Antigua, Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts, and Lucia, these countries from India's perspective are basically your fallback mechanism countries. Uh, so, I mean, unless and until you have some business interest in Europe or those countries which are in and around Caribbean, usually people look at this more from your plan B perspective. Uh, okay. So what is this entire program of investment immigration which is being offered by Oak Bridge? So the entire organization facilitates investors who are obviously, once we have understood exactly why is he would even look at understanding or exploring these options. For example, I mean, just to help you guys understand better, children who are in US, okay, either they are doing their undergrads or they have just finished their undergrad, they are going to do masters, or they are working, or they are recently married, etc. Now, parents who are based out of India are usually concerned about providing them with some kind of safety net because, as you know, H-1B visas or any form of visas have their own set of challenges. So EB-5, which gives you green card, ensures that from the time you have submitted the application and remitted the money, which is 800,000 US dollars, within 18 months, you can actually get your conditional green card, which is like temporary green card. The reason it's called conditional is because there are certain conditions which you have to comply with over a period of next 6 to 9 months, post which it becomes like a confirmed green card. But during this period, every possible benefit which a green card gives accrues to you as well. Like I said, healthcare, employment, education, all those possible benefits are available to you. And the best part about this entire program is that out of this $800,000, which is invested in US, up to 4 lakh, you can also take a loan, $4 lakh, which are given by, entities in US at an interest rate between 4 to 6% per annum. Two, at the end of fifth year, means come year 6, and this entire amount comes back to you. So assuming you have invested entire 800,000 on your own, then come year 6, and the entire 800,000 comes back to you. And then it's like your gold, your green card actually is available to you forever. So that is not linked to the amount coming back to you. On completion of 5 years, and obviously subject to you complying with all the requirement, then you are informed by US government that now you qualify. Now you qualify to apply for citizenship. And you may choose not to opt for the citizenship. So you may choose to say, no, 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 I'm happy with my Indian passport. I continue to live with my Indian passport, but yes, green card works for me. Okay, that's as far as US is concerned. Just 2 seconds on this. US government, the entity of US government which monitors this kind of program actually has been revisiting this program over a period of time, especially after the COVID fiasco, because a lot of people actually had their money blocked in for a long, long time. So now it is almost becoming important and almost imperative that each of these regional centers which take money and invest on your behalf are monitoring the investment properly so that come year six and they have to return the money, their books are audited. The law firm which is helping you, their books are audited. The developer who's actually receiving money and investing on your behalf, their books are audited. And all these are recent development post revisiting of this entire program by US government. So very, very, safe, very, very legit, very, very appropriate form of actually moving into US. This is a quick look at you in terms of the basic cost structure and timeline. So this is for, residency by investment. So these are all the countries which are, you see, are typically European countries. The cost ranges between 200 to 500,000 euro with additional costs of maybe up to about 15, 18,000 euro. And it takes about between 6 months to 16 months, depending on the country and what are the requirement. But the best part is, look at this, it gives you access to the whole of Europe. So you have a residence permit of any of these countries, and you can, one, access the entire European Union. Two, you can access US, Canada, and UK, and also Australia, especially with regard to Portugal. And there are almost close to 170 plus countries where these residence permit will allow you to access these countries either through visa on arrival or no visa requirement at all. And these are the programs of countries which also give you citizenship programs. So, for example, USA, like I said, 800,000 plus additional about 80 odd thousand, and the entire timelines is up to within 2 years time you can get your temporary green card. And the reason I'm saying 2 years is because post pre-COVID these timelines were about 8 to 10 months. Post COVID there was a huge backlog. It had gone all the way up to 28 months. Now, gradually, it has come down to 14 months right now. So within 14 months of applying, people are actually getting their temporary conditional green card. Canada, as you know, has got two programs which are primarily aimed at people who want to actually get into entrepreneurship and not necessarily looking at making the home like going there and then depending on Canada to offer them kind of some kind of a sustenance job. This is the most interesting one, the residence program, the golden visa program of UAE. So as you know, the conventional one was that you invest 2 million dirhams into real estate. And in lieu of that, you are given 10 years multiple entry golden visa within 3 to 6 months time. I have another program which is done through the government of Ras Al Khaimah, which costs now this 40,000 has become 25,000. So which costs you 25,000 US dollars for a cost of 25,000 US dollars. Okay, no need to invest in real estate, no need to hold on for a long period of time. This is just an expense to you. You incur $25,000 plus there is a application fee, which is 1,650, 1,750 US dollars, depending on the currency exchange rate. And within 3 to 4 months time, you can actually get your 10-year multiple entry golden visa with same facilities which the other one offers for 2 million dirham. So anybody who visits UAE frequently and has either trading or business requirement or education or consulting, for them something like this actually becomes a no-brainer, because 25,000 US dollars plus additional $2,000-3,000, it's like not a large sum anyways. Okay, now a quick look at okay, these things we can obviously talk about. Okay, this is a very important slide which I would like you guys to have a look at. From students' perspective, please understand that any student who's going on a student visa from India, obviously he or she has to go through their entire, requirement of, it's a fairly tedious process. Same person, if his same child, if the child has to get admission of somebody who's already on a visa in US, then and that to EB5, then chances of you getting accepted in local universities shoots up by almost 60%. Cost drops down by almost 70%, which is a huge, huge plus. And this is something which is already happening. So in the past 24 months, the number of applications for EB5, primarily for families whose children are already there, either in the process of completing masters or have had job losses or have just got recently married or any of those things. Their number of applications has shot up like crazy. And because they're already there, you can do two things. One is we are applying for EB5 for them, visa. At the same time, we can also do concurrent change of status. So for example, at the moment they are on EB5, on a H1B, we can actually also request for or apply for change of visa from H1B to EB5 as and when it happens. And all these things happen within 12 to 18 months time. Like I said, for US especially, there are entities which also give you loan up to 4 lakh, which is very, very big deal because your net outflow is 400,000. So the way it works is requirement is you invest 800,000 US dollars in US, and the underlying 800,000, which is invested in some government approved real estate projects of certain developers who are also approved by the US CIS. These projects have to generate, every application has to generate 10 American jobs for a period of 2 years. Now, all these things are being taken care of by another agency. For any US program, we require two sets of people. One is the attorney firm, the law firm, which actually represents you. And then there is a regional center, which is a US government approved entity, which is authorized to mobilize money from investors from across the world for EB5 investment. They are the ones who are supposed to do diligence to ensure that the money is actually invested in those kind of projects which have the required approval, which meet the required guidelines, etc., etc. And it is their job to ensure that the money is also, progressing what it is supposed to actually meant for, because this money has to be returned back on completion of 5 years. So these are the guys who help us organize the loan program as well with the help of local entity. Right? So it's a proper legitimate loan program which is given to you for 5 years. So your net outflow is 4 lakh only. So you have invested 4 lakh. You got a loan of 4 lakh. On completion of 5 years, your 4 lakh comes back to you, and the 4 lakh of loan goes back. And whatever was the interest component of that you have been paying over a period of the entire life of this 5 years. So it becomes very, very easy and efficient way of looking at this. Now, these are typically a quick look at countries which give you citizenship, which are typically your Caribbean countries. What is their contribution amount, and eventually what are the timelines and what are the benefits? So Antigua Barbuda requires 200,000 with additional, expenses of about close to 40-50,000. It gives you, access to 150 countries: UK, China, Russia, Hong Kong, Singapore, European Union, of course, Canada, okay, and whole of Caribbean, obviously. Now, these are the advantages of actually, going for such kind of programs of Caribbean countries. Yes, Caribbean countries, like I said, typically these are very, very much smaller countries. So unless and until you have your reasons very clearly defined, this is not something which one usually recommends. But US and Europe requires a lot of understanding from investors as to why are they looking at. US is primarily driven by the children. So like I said, almost 90-95% of applications which go from India are driven by children who are based in US and who are living in US and who want to make US their home kind. So typical takeaway, I mean, I tried to crunch everything into just very briefly. So the typical takeaway is that for American, which is the EB5 program, One, it is, like I said, driven by US children. EB-5, the best alternative to any other visa, because it's the most legitimate form of getting into the country. Up to 16, 18, 20 months, you actually have your temporary green card. The latest report which came out, people have got within 13 months as well. And of course, you can, within 24, 26 months, you can actually have a permanent green card. Like I said, on completion of 5 years, the entire money comes back to you. What is absolutely important for US program is source of funds. Your application actually goes through a very detailed and in-depth scrutiny, primarily to establish that the source of fund is legitimate. That is the biggest requirement for US one. For European, like I said, European program is largely driven by, second home and holiday home, those kind of ones. So you find that the wealthy families, especially from your private bank and the promoter families profile, they obviously keep going to Europe on vacations every now and then. So most of the applications which one sees for Europe are actually driven by, let's have a second home. We keep going there, so why don't we also organize get a home for us, which will also give us some kind of a residence permit, and maybe at some point of time, children can also look at setting up their businesses or educating themselves. So each of these programs of European countries entitles you not just to free access to whole of EU, it gives you access to just like a local resident. So you can set up business, you can seek employment, you can hire people, you can sponsor your family members, everything. And of course, very important thing to understand that this is a very high engagement program, because primarily because the underlying amount is huge. So it does require fair amount of engagement with their, the families and investors who are keen to explore this. Therefore, what one usually advises is that the families which are where there are children who are looking at you making USA a home must reach out to them. Families where Europe is always a preferred destination for any form of entertainment or vacation, you must take the European program to them. And the set of people who are not necessarily, very keen to remain in India, and they're very happy to make maybe Europe or any other part of their home, for them probably Caribbean program can be advised. But the people who keep going to UAE for very frequently for various reasons, like I said, there are lecturers, there are doctors, there are consultants, there are traders, there are diamond merchants, etc., who keep visiting at least they do at least 6 to 8 visits a year kind. For them, this program of the one which I am doing through Russell Khaima of $25,000 is it's absolutely no brainer. So I'll be more than happy. I'll be more than happy to, talk to you all and actually help you guys understand this a little better, because across all the business verticals which Sandeep just talked about, I'm sure that you all do come across those potential clients of this format of business, whose children are US, who keep looking at Europe, who keep looking at UAE, etc. And there is enough and more merit in reaching out to them. There are private banks and there are wealth management outfits in India who actually have been offering this as part of their value added services for a while now. And they actually, so from their perspective, it's a huge value added service to their clients and huge revenue stream in turn for them. And from the investor's perspective, you are actually being taken care of by the law firm, the regional centers, or consultants who actually are not part of your organization. So it becomes so much easier for you to then have a supervisory role, just to ensure that yes, we have referred you to somebody. I hope it just is progressing the way it is supposed to. So I would be very happy to be connect with any one of you. But my sincere request would be that please look at this program very seriously. This is a no-brainer, and in times to come, which means another year or so, you'll realize that this has become a core offering of any private bank and wealth management offering across the country. Thank you. Thank you, Sandeep. More than happy to take any calls or any questions anybody has, please.
Hi, Naveen.
Yeah, hi, hi.
Naveen, this EB5s and all program, they are nothing new. They are in existence for probably quite some time. And there
Yes.
are large organizations like probably Z and others who have always been in part of E5.
Hmm.
What is it that we offer additional? Because every HNI is aware of EB5. Every chartered accountant recently offers these services to their own clientele, and
Hmm.
chartered accountant themselves have started suggesting to shift base outside India for taxation
Hmm.
purposes as
Hmm.
well as for a lot of other benefits. So what is it that we bring in table? Because this program is in existence for not now for decades. And
Yes.
if my understanding is correct, probably between October 2023 to maybe May 2024, there was a data that there's been a substantial drop of 22% in EB5 applications. So
Yeah.
what's been pulling people out of not opting? Because 22% decline is a huge number
Hmm.
in that aspect. And this is we are talking about post-COVID when everybody was
Yeah.
looking at alternate routes and the investments.
Yeah.
So what is it that you bring in us for table vis-a-vis the large players who are in existence versus the local chartered accountant who has it his nose? Because every HNI is aware of this process. There's nothing new about this.
Okay, so three things here. One is that, yeah, you're right, that this program has been in existence for a while now. Uh, Please understand that about 10, 12 years ago, the minimum requirement was 250,000 US dollars, which got raised in 2018 to 500,000. No, sorry, was raised to 500,000 about 5 years ago. And in 2018, it was revised to 800,000. Okay, so one biggest dampener is the cost of this program of EB5. 800,000 is not necessarily everybody can block for a period of 6 months, which is where the loan program becomes a unique thing. And loan program is something which is just past 2 years creation. So therefore, there are a lot of big guys, big names which you talked about. They may not even be offering you a loan program at the moment because the loan program is being done by the regional center along with the investment company where the money will actually be deployed. So what I am bringing on the table is one, a range of properties where you can invest, different kinds of properties which you can invest, right from ranging from residential, high-end residential, commercial, warehousing, blah, blah. And also the loan programs ranging from up from 300,000 to 400,000, depending on which project you're looking at. And therefore the interest rate could vary accordingly. Beyond this, it is, please understand, it is driven by the country's policy guidelines. So everybody has to fall in line. There is no interpretation here. You understand? Because EB5 program has been defined by US government. So the do's and don'ts have been very clearly defined. So whether it is a firm, which is a large organization, or it's a CA or a Naveen Kumar doing, we all have to follow the same guidelines. Those things cannot be misinterpreted or interpreted. The only thing which one can do is, because we are based out of India, we can do a lot of value add in terms of how the Indian element can be managed, which does not necessarily impact his stay or his financial position in US, or the other way around. So I hope I have been able to answer your question.
Yeah, I can understand, but that's okay. I got my thanks.
Yeah. And it's not only for US, by the way. In every countries, whether it is golden visa of Portugal or golden visa of UAE or of Greece or Malta, these are all country specific requirements. So at the end of the day, the only thing which you will do is, you will bring in all the other sets of benefits and comfort to the investors and their family. But eventually everybody just falls in line with regard to the requirement and the process which needs to be followed.
Thank you.
Oh, welcome, welcome. Anyone else? In fact, I think you just talked about some number a while ago. So let me just share with you that in the past 24 months, the number of applications for EB5 being offered by some private banks and some wealth management outfits has shot up dramatically. So it's become almost part of the core offering of couple of private banks and wealth management outfits. So it's something which is, for some people it is good to have. For some of the business model it is must have. But this is something which is in the next year or so you'll see that it's actually very well integrated with every private bank and wealth management's offering. Happy to answer anyone's question or share any additional information which you all may want. No questions?
It's fine, Naveen. What, if you don't mind, if you can leave your number and email ID on the chat,
Sure.
I'll also sort of transmit that,
Yeah.
and we'll take it up to the next logical step. My
Sure.
request to all the team would be one more thing. If you could also send us a PowerPoint copy of this presentation that you just made, which I'll pass on to everybody,
Okay.
and
Okay.
vice versa.
Sure.
Let's try and build the relationship further. Wherever the teams think it appropriate, I'm sure they'll get in touch with you. These are very senior people.
Sure.
And
Sure.
sometimes it's, a casual conversation that can help in relationship building. And this might be one of those things. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. I just shared.
Perfect. Request the team to take these details down. Naveen, thanks for doing the call
Pleasure. Pleasure.
and
Thank
would
you so
love to
much.
talk to you again soon.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandeep, for helping this. And thank you, everybody, for your time. Hope to hear from you all soon. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thanks,
Bye.
guys.